Hello, welcome to the Job Walk Podcast, an interview-styled mobile podcast where we go out into the field where the professionals are and share helpful information on buying, selling, remodeling, designing, or building your home. So join us for a job walk. All right, we're here today at Creative Minds in Carlsbad, California, and we're here with Allie. We're going to talk about some options in exterior surfacing. So, Allie, could you just give us a brief background about you, and then we'll get more into talking about what Creative Minds is and your products.
Awesome. I am Allie Jackson with Creative Minds. We're located here at our corporate office in Carlsbad, and we are distributed throughout the country, manufactured stone veneer. So stone veneer and brick, which you can use inside and outside of the home as an exterior facade or inside as a fireplace.
Let's talk a little bit about who Creative Minds is. I know there's some background to the beginning of this company. So let's talk a little bit about who is Creative Minds. Is it a big corporation? Is it a small company? Who started it? And tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so Creative Minds, we're almost barely 10 years old, very new. We were founded by Mike Lewis, is our founder of the company. So you may know Mike Lewis's name because he is also the founder and creator of Stonecraft, which is known today here in California as El Dorado Stone, before being purchased by larger corporate companies. So we are still owned by Mike Lewis, and he is in here and collaborating and designing new colors. Our president is Brent Spann, been in the industry, over 15 years. And our vice president is Ray Lipa as well, with over 15 years manufactured stone veneer industry. And me, I've been in the business 16 years old. I started at a design center selling stone on the weekends for some gas money. And here I am today. I am 35 and I'm still, in the industry just because I love it. And I love making spaces beautiful.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about manufactured stone veneer, which is how you describe it. What is that? Tell us a little bit about what it is and why you refer to it as that.
So manufactured stone veneer is made, in our particular case, by hand, poured in a latex or silicone mold, and layered with colors. So applied colors into the molds, and it's a cementuous-based product. So our particular product has the pozzolan pumice in it as well, but it's all cement-based. So it's manufactured. It's not a natural stone veneer, so you get the look of natural stone with a man-made cement lightweight product that is able to be put up on exterior walls and interior walls and hold up with the look of natural stone, but not all the weight and the nuisance of natural stone.
So I'm going to go back. You said, what was the first?
Pozzolan.
What is
pumice.
that?
So we use 100% natural pozzolan pumice. We're actually the only manufactured stone company to do that.
What is it?
So it is a pumice, and it helps in the lightweight texture and colors and the versatility and durability of the stone, which is why you won't see a Creative Minds project having a lot of efflorescence. So it's a natural pumice stones. Think about like the pumice you use on the bottom of your feet at a nail salon type thing. So that is ground and it's natural pozzolan pumice.
And where does that come from?
This particular one comes from the Hess pumice plant in Malad, Idaho. So, which is really neat because it's actually like across the street from where our large formats are produced in Malad, Idaho.
And does it come in a powder form?
It almost looks like a crystallized cement product, and it looks like a big mound, like you would drive by a cement plant and see same thing, but it's all natural pumice.
So you take the pumice and then you take cement. Is that right? And then how does that?
So it's in a mixture, and there's molds. So any different type, like this one in particular is our peak ledge in our brochure, and it is painted with colors. So let's say in this particular brochure, or this particular color has 6 colors, right, in the gray pearl, and they're going to paint those 6 different colors in the mold by hand. It's going to go through 3 or 4 people, and they're going to paint it, and then the cement is going to be applied after that, and it will go into a curing process, and that's how the stone is made. So in these little molds.
I have a lot of questions about this. So how thick is the mold? Is it?
Ooh, the actual thickness. That's a great
I'm
question.
just a.
Yeah, so the mold is about, let's say, like 24 by 36, or
Okay.
2 or 4 square feet per mold. And the thickness, so imagine the stone thickness is like maybe 3 1/8 or 3 5/8. So a little bit wider than that, maybe 6 or 8 inches high. And then you would have the mold, because we demold it. So imagine like a big air compressor stuck in the side and puffing it up, and all the pieces pop out. So it's like a thick latex, like you said, or silicone mold that they're putting all of this.
And then when they're painting it, are they using like a sprayer or
No, a real
brushes?
brush, a real
Really?
paint, and they're just very delicately, and they know exactly what color goes with. I do this many swipes for black truffle, I do this many swipes for wildflower, so different colors get different ingredients,
That's super interesting.
right?
So
It's
how?
so
So
neat.
then the colors. How does that happen? You said the owner still participates in that type of sort of I guess that's the creative part
Right.
of Creative Minds. How does the colorations happen? Is it testing? I mean, is it getting natural, stone out of the environment?
Yes, yes to all.
Okay.
So as you can see, these 2 colors right here in our showroom that are displayed, the largest ones, that came from our product development team. So working with architects and designers and builders, distribution, and asking, what do you see? What do we need to add to this color palette? And then we have a product development team that looks at it and says, this is great, this is too gray, this is too white, this is too brown. And so everybody kind of collaborates. Like I said earlier, we're not a corporation. We're not this largely owned. I can pick up the phone and call the president and tell him, oh, hey, I just drove by this awesome project and I saw this color. We're constantly harvesting natural stone pieces from different quarries and looking at textures, and then getting ideas from there on what we think is the new trend in the market. And then asking each other in a round table, do you like this? Do you like this? Would you put this on your house? And one of our newest developments, Cloud Break, Cassie, our sales rep out in Utah, she has it on her home, and she was the very first, help develop the color, put it on her home, and now it's one of our best-selling, newest, top trending colors.
And then part of the lure to sort of, natural stone, if we want to call that, is there's just some natural variations, right? So how do you account for that in these molds? Is it?
So there's not, we are really diligent with how we repeat the patterns and how we repeat the colors. So in a box of 100 square feet, you're going to see the same variation with the manufactured stone that you would see with natural. And the thing with natural stone, sometimes you're going from a quarry, you may see 8 pallets you love, and then 6 pallets are totally different. So with ours, you are going to get that consistency of, I really love this color. This is the variation in 100 square feet. So if I'm buying 900 square feet, I know I'm going to get 9 boxes very similar to.
Right. But that's one of the big benefits, right? Because you
Correct.
really don't know what you see the samples of natural stone
Right.
in a showroom, but you might get something all pink.
Completely different because,
Yeah.
God makes the mountains very different.
Right.
And we can control that a little bit more when you're in a plant and manufacturing it and making sure that you have that control board. And what we do is when we take stuff off the line, we do test and we pull, 10 square feet, compare it to the control board, which is where all the samples and displays will go out. And then you will see, okay, this is perfect, spot on with variation.
And I guess that would apply to the sizing as well, right? You
Correct.
have some consistency with the sizing.
Exactly.
Where you might not.
So we know that you're going to get approximately 25 pieces of the 20-inch is going to be the largest in orchard limestone, and you're going to get smaller pieces that are 4 to 6 inches. Where you get a pallet of natural stone, you don't know what the cobbles are going to come out of. It's not hand stacked to perfection. This is what came off the mountain.
Right.
I cut it. There it is.
So let's talk a little bit more about I would guess that when somebody's looking to use specific material on their facade and they want it to, have the feeling of stone or the warmth of stone, they're going to be looking at a manufactured veneer versus natural stone. Is that
Correct.
how you call them in the industry, the two different things?
Yeah, so when
right?
they're at a design center and they're looking, what's manufactured, what's natural. Now, if they're doing a huge fountain or a big waterfall and they're going to have 24 hours constant water on it, of course, that's when we recommend the natural stone.
Okay.
But, if it's going to be, they're building a custom home in La Jolla and they want the whole front part of their home redone, and they're calling on you guys and say, hey, we have all this square footage of stone. One big thing that you're looking at is weight. How much weight can it stand? Where, with ours, you're not going to get anything over 12 pounds per square foot. You're not going to have to engineer that exterior of the home to have a huge heavy weight. You're going to be able to keep that. Where some of the natural stones, you look at 17, 20 pounds square foot, and they're not able to put it up as a veneer. It's going to be like a full bed. So you'll still get the look of the stone and, like you said, that warmth and just the look that they're looking for, depending on what style home it is. But on that craftsman home, on that, depending on what it is, it's going to look great, but also not have all the weight and all of the nuisances that, natural stone does.
So one of the definite benefits is the weight, and it being not as heavy as natural stone. So you keep using the term veneer. What does that actually refer to?
So the stone veneer is a thinner stone, so it can be applied on top of CMU blocks. It can be...
You're going to need to tell us what CMU is.
A piece of block. So, an 8/16 cement block. That's what, if the exterior of the home has a wall and it has a 6-foot wall and it's all block and you want it to have stone on it, you'll be able to put that stone directly on the block wall. Where it's a full bed depth natural stone, you're going to have to start from scratch. You cannot veneer that on. So it's a thin stone veneer is what ours is considered.
So block stone would be, the wall would actually be constructed of the stone only,
a full
correct?
bed depth, correct.
So tell us a little bit what full bed depth is.
You're going to have pieces of natural stone that are like 8 to 12 inches thick and wide.
Laid on a foundation or footing, correct?
Correct,
And then mortared in, is that right?
Yep, all on top of each other. And that kind of stuff takes an engineer to, obviously look at if they can hold the weight, what it can. And you really don't have the design for, kind of freedom of what you want to do. Right? When you're working with a veneer and the wall is ready on the exterior of the home, it's been lathed or plastered and it's ready for stone, you can put the veneer right on top of that.
And it doesn't have any structural component,
Correct.
right? It's just, it's basically a covering. So, okay, good.
Yes,
I just wanted to make that clear for everybody.
Of course.
And then as far as the differences and sort of the benefits between using a manufactured product, veneer, and natural stone, we talked about the color being more consistent. We talked about the sizing being more consistent. Is there a installation? I'm assuming the color and the sizing helps the installation be a little bit less expensive, maybe?
Correct, because you're having masons that are already artists, as we all know, pull out of a box and lay out maybe 20 to 30 square feet and then put it on the wall. Where natural stone, they may have to pull out pieces, cut the pieces, fit them to size, then look at the different colors that are in different palettes. Where everything, that we manufacture, we're manufacturing it in a way to showcase the different colors all in one palette, so you're getting that variation just as an example, layer by layer that they're able to lay out and install directly on the wall, as well as the weight. The weight is a huge thing with installation. It's going to go a lot faster with the manufactured stone veneer, and it's going to be a lot easier for them to work with.
And in terms of, so the installation, I'm assuming the cost is less. It probably can go quicker.
Correct.
Because you know what you're working with, and I would imagine once you get going, you kind of get sort of a rhythm down.
Right. It's pretty much ready to go.
And it's just probably easier to handle. It's less heavy.
Yes.
And then what about the actual cost of the product? Is there a price difference between natural stone and?
Yes, significantly. Most of the natural stone, we don't have these beautiful quarries in California. So most of the natural stone that you're going to see, it's going to come from Wisconsin and from Indiana and, Arizona, Texas limestone. So you're paying to freight it in. You're paying for different, as well as we are manufactured in Mexico as well as Utah and Idaho. So those are our 3 plants. But you're paying for the natural stone for it to be hauled from somewhere on a truck or on a rail cart sometime. And as we know right now, freight is almost at an all-time high.
And what about the availability, natural versus a manufactured product?
So we're able to manufacture, and we have quite a bit of material on the ground at all times. I've seen people in the middle of a project run out of stone on a quarry. There was one many years ago. I don't know if you remember it. It's called Three Rivers. And Three Rivers was a huge natural stone. And one day they just shut it down. They couldn't, carve into the mountain anymore, and they couldn't get it. So imagine you're in the middle of a pool project or a backyard or front yard and you have no more stone. The quarry's gone. So there's, for somebody like us, we're going to manufacture it, and we're always going to have the availability.
Yeah. So, and then let's talk about that. So natural stone, because you have a background in natural stone, right? Way back when.
Right.
That comes out of a quarry. So there's mining and probably not necessarily considered environmentally friendly.
Correct.
So how does manufactured stone on that sort of in that sort of a discussion, how does it?
Yeah, so everybody now is trying to be more environmentally friendly, right? You want to look out for the environment and what you're harming, right? While you're making things beautiful, what is it at what cost? With our lead points, we have a minimum of 70% post-consumer recycled materials goes into our product. So not only are you saving the environment because you're not cutting into a mountain, you're actually, helping because we are using post-consumer recycled products. And it's beautiful. You're going with a lightweight, you're, transporting something lighter, you're doing it on truckloads of, yes, we are freighting it, but we're not doing rail carts. And we know the rail carts can be not only expensive, but they're not very nice to the environment as well. Those trains, they're not environmentally friendly. So I think all around, just everything that we stand for, with the recycling and the lead content. And if you're here in Southern California, your stone is coming from Mexicali. So right there. It's pretty close.
Right.
You can't get much closer.
So where do you send product? Where are you all over the U.S.? Are you international? Or?
We sure are. We actually are all over the United States. We service Canada as well. We go into Canada and we have a great customer up there, as well as Italy. And we collaborate with people in Italy that are working with the Switzerland home builders, Germany, France, and Spain. So it's pretty neat. We kind of are leaving our mark all over the world.
That's great. And so if somebody wants to learn more about Creative Minds,
yes.
Where would you recommend is there a website, a phone number? What's the best way to just learn more about the product?
Yes. So we have a pretty awesome social media presence, and it's Creative Minds, MINES. I tell people like a miner, not your mind. That's creative. And same thing with the website, www.creativeminds.com. Find us there. And I have an Instagram I try to post a lot on, and I'm Allie Jackson, ALLIEJACKSON. And follow us. We even have a hashtag, Get Creative or Creative Minds, and we're pretty good about doing all of that. But if you're local to San Diego or Orange County, we have this beautiful showroom that's open to the public in Carlsbad.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Allie. You can also find information about Creative Minds and Allie on the Job Walk podcast, which is jobwalkpodcast.com. Thanks so much, Allie.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.